Well, here's an interesting article I ran in today, and it shows how more Americans are relying on income like government grants, Social Security, and other basic programs to live on. And they say that's because of, because of increase in the aging population and for inflation. So things are getting more expensive and we got more old people. and so they're relying on government grants to stay ahead of the game or just stay in the game. I mean, I know a lot of people personally who have problems like that. And what I think is going on is the average wage isn't keeping up with anything. Actually, and the bottom 90% of the people are getting less income than anybody else, and it's going down every year. If you look at this graph, and this is data from the Bureau of Labor Statistics, and I had actually AI create this graph for me. It shows you the total wages. Okay, now the red line is for the bottom 90% of the people. Okay, back in 1980. The bottom 70% of the people, the bottom 90% of the people got 70% of the income. So you had 90% of the people and got 70% of the income. So that's almost total, okay? Now the top 10% back in 1980 got 30%, okay? So that's 70% went to 90% of the people and 30% went to the top 10% of the people. Okay, fast forward to 2022. Now, look at what's happening. The bottom 90% is losing their percentage of income that the government, that the economy creates. So the economy creates like $4 trillion a year, something like that. And so back in 1980, the bottom 90% got 70% of that. Now they're only getting about 50% of that, okay? So they're getting a smaller piece of the pie, from 70% of the income to 50% of the income. I think it's like 54 or something like that. So they're shrinking their percent of the pie. Now, if you look at the top 10%, they're increasing their percent of the pie. They go from 30% to almost 50%, okay? So they're going up and getting a larger piece of the pie. So that means 90% of the people are getting squeezed by the income. So that's why they're relying on grants. So that's why I think, I'm biased because I'm telling people about grants, so you don't trust me, okay? Because of my biasness. But you have to realize that. And that's why there's so much out there that people don't even know. And it's more than just the basic program. Now, here's a sampling of brand new programs just in the last week or so. Like Connecticut is giving small businesses, 278 small businesses were getting $25,000 grants each because they were affected by the weather. This is Connecticut, not down in Florida, Connecticut, okay? Families who make less than $70,000 now can go free tuition for a 4-year college degree. That's $70,000. So that's like poor nowadays. They can't afford tuition. So that's another interesting thing. Now these are samples, so they don't work everywhere. You have to find out about programs like this where you live. Yeah. Okay, here. Free workshops to apply to a $1,000 utility grants in the winter. And the income is up to $46,000. So this is for lower income. So you can't make more than $46,000. And there's grants for paying your winter utility bills. And that's more or less in every county. Free turkeys for Thanksgiving. Yeah, that's what they're giving you. And this is an article in Houston is doing that. Nonprofit organizations. Okay. And then here's another one here. The government does not have access to any of your property if you receive $40,000 government grant. See, if you get caught and you need disaster assistance, a lot of fake news out there is saying, oh, if you take a grant, then the government has access to buy your property. That's stupid. And here's a link here. And I'll put all these links in the description below so you could get But the government, if they give you a grant, you're home free. You don't have to worry about any of this stuff. Okay, here, how about for starting a business? I mean, this is substantial money. There's one state giving $50,000 to $3 million for your business idea. $50,000 to $3 million. Like $3 million to create a business that will create 15 jobs. That's right. So you have an idea for creating a business of 15 jobs. The government's giving you $3 million to create those jobs. Here's another one. If you have an idea for a prototype of an inventor, you're an inventor working on something and you need money for the prototype, they'll give you $50,000 for that. Or how about $100,000 to develop a new product for truckers. I don't even know what it is, but that's what it says in the description. Or another $100,000 for a new business on how people could deal with paperwork, with government paperwork. For you say, oh, listen, businesses should not do this and they should do this, and let me prove that. I need $100,000 to prove that. You got it. Okay, here's another $100,000 to develop a plant-based protein product. So now we're going to eat plants for protein instead of cows, I guess. So that's the kind of stuff that's out there. Okay, the main important thing, if you need help with living expenses, go to findhelp.org, findhelp.org, put in your zip code, and then put in what you need money for, your rent, your utilities, or whatever it is, and you'll find dozens and dozens, maybe even hundreds of local organizations and nonprofit organizations that help give you money to do that. See, this is the sharing commodity, not the sharing commodity, the caring commodity. No, the community. This is our community economy, where people help each other. And that's why this represents about a third of everything in our country, is where communities, people are helping people. They do that through the government or nonprofit organizations. Sort of like your church, but there's a hell of a lot more. A third of our economy acts like that. They don't take your money, they give you money. A third. So you got to find that. And one place is go to findhelp.org. And if you're a business and want to know how to get those kind of programs, it's different in every city, every county, whatever. They all have different programs. And the way to get that is to go to sba.gov/ then local-assistance, local-assistance. And that is all in small letters. And you put in your zip code, then you'll find 3, 4, 5, 10, 20 organizations locally that are nonprofit organizations and part of the community that gives money and help for free for you to start or expand a business. So call them, make an appointment, and say, I need help. That's all you have to know. I need help. The same thing with findhelp.com. And use your phone. Don't try to just find an application to fill in the blanks. No, you got to use your phone and talk to people. It's too complicated out there for you to think you know all that kind of stuff. So use people, and they get paid just to help you. Only you. Some of them are a little mean, maybe, or miserable day. So you just have to keep looking. And wow, if you get 200-300 people that all do the same thing, you'll find somebody there. Just it'll take some time, but it's there.